tonight on UCentral News. President Trump could implement new tariffs tonight. Find out who is impacted and if it will hurt your pocketbook. And right now, it's no sun and no fun. Will we have sunny skies headed our way? Gwyneth Duncan answers that and more. And award season is in full swing. Riley Townsend has the 411 on what went down at the Oscars. And Bronco basketball is heating up. Ian Nickel has all of the highlights from their most recent victory. All of that and more starting right now.
Live from Central Oklahoma, this is UCentral News.
Good evening, I'm Zach Sexton.
And I'm Jeremy Ramirez. Welcome to this edition of UCentral News.
Many mainstream economists say the cost of cars and groceries could go up soon. That's due to new tariffs President Donald Trump could impose tonight. He says they're partly a negotiation tactic to stem the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. and to increase border security. But investors seem worried about inflation. Amy Kiley reports on how the Trump administration is trying to ease those concerns.
There are going to be tariffs on Tuesday on Mexico and Canada.
The Commerce Secretary confirms new tariffs are on track to begin around midnight Eastern Time tonight. He says a 10% hike on Chinese imports is on the table, on top of last month's increase. Executive orders also call for tariffs on most Canadian and all Mexican goods worth more than $800. The Secretary says the percentage of those duties is unclear. He says the president believes America's neighbors are making progress on border security.
He's sort of thinking about right now how exactly he wants to play it with Mexico and Canada, and that is a fluid situation.
U.S. companies are the ones that have to pay the tariffs. The Trump administration downplays how much of that cost they'd pass on to consumers. Many economists say the proposed tariffs could increase prices for goods like shoes, electronics, groceries, and especially vehicles.
If you can buy one before Tuesday, before the tariffs come in and we either shut down or become more expensive, you should go and do it.
Another concern is that Mexico, China, and Canada could impose retaliatory measures.
We will have a strong, unequivocal, and proportional response as Canadians expect.
But some analysts say the new tariffs could be good for the U.S. in the end. The Trump administration says they're leverage.
And the key would be no tariffs. But to get there, there's a negotiation. He's starting that negotiation.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
President Trump said that 25% tariffs could be imposed on imports from Mexico and Canada and will be starting on Tuesday. Trump said that the tariffs are going to help the fight against fentanyl trafficking for the bordering countries. He also said that he would add another 10% tariff on goods from China, which is in addition to the 10% tariff he put in place last month.
Employees at another branch of the U.S. government are being told to justify their jobs. People at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services are now required to send emails listing 5 accomplishments they made the previous week. The deadline for a reply is Monday at 11:59 p.m. The message sent to HHS employees appears to imply that these emails will need to be completed every week.
The National Cheerleaders Association All-Star Championship took place this Saturday, held in Dallas, Texas at the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. The event got put on pause due to a mass panic caused by a physical altercation between 2 individuals. During the altercation, they knocked down poles, creating a loud noise. Many people believing at the time it could be an active shooter, causing a large number of guests and performers to panic and stampede out of the building. The stampede left 10 people injured, none of which were life-threatening injuries. The competition resumed on 8 a.m. Sunday.
And now, Gwyneth will have our first look at weather.
Thank you, guys. And looking outside right now across the state, we do have some cloud cover that's not going to go away anytime soon. We have a warm front that's trying to sweep across the state, and then another cold front that's going to move towards Oklahoma, and that's what's going to cause our severe weather going into tonight. But looking out there right now, it's not looking too nice. We have some overcast, and it's really humid out there. We're looking at 100% humidity, and that wind is coming in really fast. You may have been able to feel that today. We're sitting at gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. But other than that, it feels pretty nice out there, 67 degrees. And as we go into tonight, that's when our thunderstorm chances really ramp up. We have some chance for some severe weather I'll talk about later in the show. We also are going to have high wind gusts tomorrow. And I know what you're thinking, hey, we had high wind gusts today, but not as bad as tomorrow. We're going to be looking at 40 mile per hour gusts tomorrow. throughout the day. So if you have your hair down, if you have long hair, if you have curly hair, probably put that up because it's going to be really windy going into tomorrow. As we look at tomorrow as well, our north winds are what's going to bring our temperature down quite a bit, especially since those winds are going to be so high. We are going to have high 60s for temperatures this weekend, so those temperatures are going to go back up compared to what they're going to be tomorrow. But looking at tonight, we do have a tornado probability. We're sitting in between marginal and slight for Edmond with those tornado chances. You're going to want to keep an eye on that forecast because this is coming in really late into the night, and that could be damaging, especially since you're going to be asleep. You're not going to know it's coming, but it's definitely there. I'll give you a briefing on more about what that storm is supposed to do tonight later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Gwyneth. The Dean of the College of Business, Jeremy Aller, has announced his plans to step down in July of 2025. Dr. Aller, a Central alumni who has also served in other leadership roles, such as chairperson of the Department of Economics, will now serve as Dean of the Goddard School of Business and Economics at Weber State University in Ogden, Utah. He is proud of the achievements made by faculty and staff who worked hard to create vibrant student experiences. The UCO family wishes him luck in this new endeavor.
Carrie Watkins, the CEO of the Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum, was named one of USA Today's Women of the Year. Watkins has more than 3 decades at the museum and was one of the project's first employees, being hired on as a part-time communications director. Watkins was chosen to be one of the Women of the Year because of her impact on her community by honoring the victims and survivors of the April 19, 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. Watkins is one in 60 women who were chosen for the award this year.
UCO's American Association of University Women celebrated the start of Women's History Month this afternoon with an event in the Liberal Arts Building. UCentral's Michaela Kraus has more.
AAUW has a lot planned for this Women's History Month, and that all started today.
International Women's Day for me means the celebration of the resilience of all of our women and sisters that have fought for the rights that we have and that keep fighting for the rights that we should have.
The Her History event, held in the lecture hall of the Liberal Arts Building, featured a dance performance from UCO student Cheyenne Brown and a keynote speech from the Oklahoma American Civil Liberty Union's organizer-manager, Nicole Maldonado.
So I just wanted to share my story, the things that I had to go through in order for me to be here today. And hopefully more young women can inspire from that and keep following their dreams.
Maldonado shared her experiences as a Colombian woman who moved to the U.S. for university and as a gay woman living in Oklahoma.
There is a lot of misconceptions and stereotypes about gay women here. Oh, you don't look gay, or why are you not dressed gay, or, and it's just how do a gay woman looks like, right?
Maldonado says she hopes she can serve as an inspiration to other young women.
The main thing that I wanted to take away is to not let any patriarchy or men tell them what to do or how to do things, to trust themselves and follow their instincts, and just be bold and be outspoken.
Reporting for UCentral News, I'm Michaela Kraus.
AAUW will also be hosting What is Womanhood on Thursday, an open mic night where the community is invited to come on stage and express what womanhood means to them. The event will be held in Constitution Hall from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
When we come back, Gwyneth Duncan will have our full look at weather.
Don't go anywhere.
The University of Central Oklahoma grows and thrives. We move to meet our students where they are and get them where they want to go. Over time, thousands of students have made the move to UCO. They come to pursue their passions and find their calling, to improve their lives, families, and communities. UCO moves and motivates students in and out of the classroom. Here, potential takes flight. Our students' curiosity ignites a spark that fuels transformation. Oklahoma's Metropolitan University, the university that hasn't stopped moving since 1890. In fact, we are gaining momentum.
This is where movement is. This is the University of Central Oklahoma.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Good afternoon. Welcome back, Broncos. We have a warm front that's pushing clouds into the state, and it's supposed to bring some storms later tonight. As for now, though, we're just looking at an overcast sky. It's pretty gross out there, pretty muggy, really windy. We're sitting at gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Once again, really humid out there. That humidity is sitting at 90%. And as we look across the state, we're looking at 68 degrees in OKC. We do have that warm front right there. That's bringing those temperatures up for places like Altus and even Guyman at 74 degrees. As for the rest of the state, though, we're not feeling that yet. 60 degrees in Tulsa. Still pretty nice out there, but just not as warm as some parts of the state. As we go into tonight, that's when those thunderstorm chances really go up. We're going to be looking at a 100% chance of precipitation, 51 degrees. Those winds are going to be light until that storm moves in. That storm's going to have a lot of winds packing with it. And this is what is causing our storms right there. We're going to have a cold front interacting with that warm front right there, moving into our state. That's going to bring a line of storms. And as we look at that severe potential, we're sitting on the line of enhanced and slight in Edmond. So we have that slight chance of severe weather out there. And as we look at that more intensely, we're looking at moderate chances for tornadoes, moderate chances for hail, and moderate chances for wind. We could see winds as high as 80 miles per hour. We could see hail as big as golf ball sized. And then our tornado risk just really up in the air. We know Oklahoma, when we get tornadoes like that, they just kind of pop up. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that. As for the timeline, it's going to be hard to keep an eye on the weather because you're probably going to be asleep. The main part of that storm, when that moves in, is going to be at 2 a.m. Other than that, at 12 a.m., it starts to move in. You're going to start to hear thunder. You're going to start to see lightning out there at that time. And it will wake you up most likely because of that really loud thunder and quite a bit of lightning. You also might wake up to an alarm on your phone that says, hey, get in your tornado shelters, because we do have a pretty high risk for tornadoes tonight. As we look at our daily forecast tomorrow, once all those storms passed, we're still going to have some lingering storms. So we have a 30% chance pretty much all day. You could see some sprinkles, some light rain. It's going to be pretty cloudy tomorrow, similar to how it was today, how we kind of had an overcast. That's what tomorrow's going to be. We're going to reach 61 degrees though, so it's going to be pretty nice out there. But once again, those winds are going to be coming in at 40 miles per hour. That's insane. That's typical Oklahoma weather though. So if you're going to have your hair down, probably don't, because that's just not the best choice. Looking at across the state tomorrow, 61 degrees in OKC, 50 degrees in Guyman, and 66 in McAllister. It's going to drop quite a bit because of those super high winds coming from the north. And as we look at those 7-day forecasts, Tuesday we're looking at a fire risk because of the super high winds we're going to see tomorrow. And then we're looking at chances of rain even into Tuesday night, about a 20% chance because of those lingering storms behind this cold front. As we look at the rest of the days, though, we're mainly going to be sunny. Those temperatures are going to go back up into the weekend. It's going to start to feel better. As for tonight, though, Jeremy, Zach, I know that we're supposed to see some severe weather. Do you have any precautions in place for if a tornado warning goes off?
Well, Gwyneth, I'm pretty fortunate. I live in this high-rise that has this huge concrete building for all of us. So, I mean, I think that's a great way to stay safe. What about you, Gwyneth?
Well, I live on one of the campus dorms, so we do have some assigned safety places to go. We just go to our basement personally, but Zach?
At my house, I have a walk-in storm shelter that I always take safety in. Thank you, Gwyneth.
Coming up, find out who returned to SNL after a decade.
And who won big at the Oscars. Riley Townsend will have more after the break.
Rugged, rough, built for the road ahead. Sometimes I feel like a shell of a man.
Commercials are fake. What you're feeling isn't. Call or text 988, Oklahoma's mental health lifeline.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
The University of Central Oklahoma grows and thrives. We move forward, daily living the Bronco way, being reflective of our neighborhood, community, history, and Oklahoma. This is what has made us who we are. Oklahoma's Metropolitan University, the third largest university in Oklahoma. This is where movement is. This is the University of Central Oklahoma.
Riley Townsend here with your Central Social Media Breakdown. The beloved actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Araucana were found dead in their Santa Fe home last week when two maintenance workers arrived and discovered the front door open. Hackman was 95 and his wife Araucana was 64. Their deaths were deemed suspicious and warranted a search and investigation. The suspected cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning. However, as of February 28th, when the Santa Fe Police Department held a press release, it was revealed both individuals tested negative for carbon monoxide poisoning, and that Hackman's estimated date of death was February 17th. The investigation remains active and officials are still trying to determine the cause of death. Mike Myers made a surprise appearance on SNL last Saturday night. Saturday Night Live opened with a sketch about President Trump's White House meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Myers appeared in the opening sketch as Elon Musk, wearing his signature t-shirt and jeans with a chainsaw of all things. The sketch poked fun of Elon as the head of Doge and the etiquette of President Trump. This was Myers' first return to a regular Saturday Night Live airing since 2015. Last night was the 97th Annual Academy Awards in Los Angeles. From the red carpet to the after party, the event was packed with celebrities and memorable moments. With stars like Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Demi Moore, Timothée Chalamet, and Adrian Brody, the event was hosted by Emmy-winning comedian and late-night talk show host Conan O'Brien. Amelia Perez was the top contender going into the night with 13 nominations. Erivo and Grande started the night with a medley of songs from The Wiz, Wizard of Oz, and Wicked. As the night went on, many late celebrities were memorialized and honored, including Quincy Jones, Gene Hackman, Maggie Smith, and James Earl Jones. The big winner of the night was the film Honora, with Best Original Screenplay, Best Director, Best Film Editing, Best Actress for Mikey Madison's performance, and Best Picture. The Brit Awards took place in London, England, in the O2 Arena. Performers including Sabrina Carpenter, Jade, and Lola Young graced the stage to perform. Jack Whitewall hosted, and it was an eventful night. Sabrina Carpenter opened the ceremony with an army of King's Guards as she performed Espresso, which turned into a fan favorite song, Bedchem. That ended with the singer descending beneath the stage with the King's Guard. Charlie XCX had a phenomenal night. She ended up taking home every award she was nominated for. Charlie and Billie Eilish's collaboration Guess was named Song of the Year, while Brat was named Album of the Year. Charlie also won Songwriter of the Year, Artist of the Year, and Best Dance of the Year. And Charlie's producer, A.G. Cook, was named Producer of the Year. That's all I have. Back to you at the desk.
Coming up in Bronco sports, will both Bronco basketball teams make the conference tournament?
And which Thunder player scored a career high last night? Ian Nickel has more after the break.
It's time to explore, to come out and play. Our city is waiting, so what do you say? Whether daytime or nighttime, the right time is now. Finding those moments to make you go wow. Amazing new places to fit every mood. Shopping and dining. Did we mention the food? There are green parks and ballparks and water parks too. Museums, attractions, and also a zoo. The modern frontier is the friendliest place. Now is the time for your dreams to be chased.
It's the Roadway Replay.
Time for the lightning round, Brian. Let's rewind your drive to work. How far did your car travel while you checked your phone? 20 feet, 100 feet, the length of a football field?
100 feet.
Oh, sorry, Brian. In just 3 seconds on the highway, your car traveled the length of a football field.
Distracted driving? It's no game.
Hello everyone, I'm Ian Nickel here with your sports report on this Monday, March 3rd. It's our first show in March, so let the madness begin. We'll begin at the hardwood. We'll begin with the women, where Emma Andrews and company needed to win their final 2 games in order to make it to Kansas City. They dominated the Lions of Arkansas Fort Smith with Talia Pogai leading the way with 20 points. Some history was made in this game with Carly Wadsworth breaking the school record for most three-pointers made in a career, and head coach Emma Andrews earning her 100th career win in the 83-55 victory. The first 3 quarters of the Northeastern State game were all chose, with Central taking a 13-point lead in the fourth, but UCO couldn't buy a bucket in the fourth and were outscored 24-5, falling to the Riverhawks 68-60. The Broncos finished the year 8-20 overall and 7-12 in the MIAA, finishing 11th in both KPI and conference records. As for the men, they fell in a heartbreaker to Arkansas Fort Smith, falling 74-70 in a back-and-forth affair. On to Saturday, as the chosen Riverhawks were fighting for conference tournament berths, Jacoby Seabach had to go through and then around people for a bucket. Inbound play here from Seabach, gets the nice mid-range rebound and score. He led all scorers with 25 points and snagged 14 rebounds in the victory. Izzy Hart was a literal thief in broad daylight, snagging 7 steals. And here's Seabach with more.
Teammates, they helped me box out, which made me be able to get the rebounds that I could. And they did a great job doing that, which let me crash the boards the whole game, get a rebound, kick it to them, and we go score on offense.
They won 73-67, but because of KPI, determining the conference seeding for the MIAA tournament was a little wonky. Originally, they were slated 5th and based off conference record, but because of the KPI, they bumped UCO all the way down to 8th. 3 teams in particular, Central Missouri, Missouri Western, and Nebraska Kearney, all lost to UCO and either had an equal or worse conference record. But because of that, the Broncos are still going to Kansas City, but they probably should be higher than they are. The Broncos will battle the Emporia State Hornets Wednesday at high noon. The last time these 2 teams played was February 2nd and lost 74-65. The winner will take on number 1 seed Washburn on Thursday. And over to the Diamond, the Broncos softball team took a trip over to Branson and took all 4 games against their opponents. Friday, they beat Truman State 8-6 in their closest game of the weekend series, then crushed the Missouri S&T Miners 12-4 in 6 innings. On Saturday, Broncos pitcher Sidney Ward was muy perfecto, throwing a 7-inning perfect game with 11 strikeouts to make the Blue Tigers even more blue as UCO won 3-0. Their final game was a 11-0 throttling of Winona State, with Taryn Ritz pitching a shutout with 5 strikeouts, while also going 2 of 4 from the plate. Kennedy Clark had 3 of her 8 hits in that game as well and was recently named MIAA Hitter of the Week. Conference play begins Friday against Pittsburgh State at 2 p.m. And then last night, the Thunder were in action in the Alamo City, taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Off the rip here, J-Dub with the pass to SGA for the 3, bullseye. Later on, the MVP candidate shows he could score in multiple ways, not just the free throw line, with a midway fadeaway here. But it was all about J-Dub as he hits this three right here, gets the nice lucky bounce, and sinks it. Then he also scored on this coast-to-coast steal right here, had a career high of 41 points as he dribbles and drives his way to the hoop and gets the foul with that shot. The Thunder won 146-132, and they'll play the Houston Rockets tonight at the Paycom Center. And that's my time. Back to you two at the desk.
Thank you, Ian. Coming up, Route 66 is turning 100 years old. How is the state of Oklahoma going to celebrate?
And Gwyneth Duncan will have our last look at weather after the break.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Expanding horizons, making room for the new. The modern frontier is ready for you. There's more to discover, more fun to be found. Our city is rising, just look around. Attractions, adventures, excitement and thrills, rooms of beauty and history where knowledge is filled. A convergence of cultures in spectacular places, open skies, open minds, and wide open spaces. The modern frontier awaits you to embrace it.
In preparation for the Route 66 Centennial celebration in 2026, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation has presented the 25 through 26 state map to include the iconic landmarks of Oklahoma. Landmarks like Pops and the Red Barn in Arcadia, along with the Route 66 Museum in Elk City. The economic impact of Route 66 is immeasurable, says Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell. Thousands of tourists are expected to come through as Oklahoma has the most miles and attractions out of any state that goes through Route 66. And now, Gwyneth will have our last look at weather.
Doing a super quick look here tonight, we have some pretty high severe threats, including tornadoes, hail, and wind. Wind could be as high as 80 miles per hour. You're going to want to keep an eye on that. And that's all I have for today's show, so back to you guys at the desk.
Broncos, that's all the time we have for today. My name is Zachary Sexton.
I'm Jeremy Ramirez. Thank you for watching and have a good night.